Hello everybody, it's time once again for another Christmas reading, but before we get to that, just want to let everybody know that tomorrow night there's not going to be a Christmas reading, because we're going to be going, me and my son are going to be going to this tomorrow. It's a little, train convention at our local mall, so we'll be doing that as a video instead tomorrow. So put that back on the church. But tonight's story is Monsters Inc. Christmas Laugh. Hey dear. Ready? Afterwards. Alright, so let's get started here. Alright, come on. Alright, Mike Wazowski, the green one-eyed monster, was on the Monsters Inc. laugh floor. Couldn't keep from looking at the laugh meter. It shows all of the laughs the monsters had collected telling kids jokes. Laughs were turning into energy for the city of Montropolis. Monsters Inc. had always been able to collect enough laughs to make sure the monsters never had to worry about losing power. But with Christmas around the corner, it seems as if more and more kids were on vacation. That made it harder to collect laughs. Mike worried that there wouldn't be enough power to light up the city Christmas tree in the city central. Was Montropolis tradition that everyone looked forward to? Come on, monsters, he called. Think Buddy. Mike watched one monster go through a child's closet door. When he came back out the laugh floor, Mike looked at the canister that had collected laughs. There wasn't even half full. Just then, Sully showed up. The big furry blue monster was president of Monsters Incorporated. He was also Mike's best friend. How's it going, Mike? asked Sully. Fine, fine, Mike answered nervously. He didn't want the boss to know they were running short on laughs. The Christmas tree will be lit up in no time. Mike saw Sully peek over at the laugh meter. I bet there are lots of kids who are. Sully started. No time to talk, buddy. Mike cut him off. He guided Sully towards the door. Here's to get back to work collecting laughs. Okay. That's all. See you later. As soon as Sully left, Mike called out again. Let's go, let's go. Collect those laughs. Christmas is just around the corner. The monsters work even harder at being funny and entertaining. One monster even juggled several plates and spun another plate on his head. The kid watched him broke into giggles and clapped wildly. Laugh containers quickly filled up. George, the big furry orange monster, went through another child's door. He sat on a stool next to the little girl's bed, holding a microphone in one hand. Hey, is this thing on? Hello, George said, tapping the microphone. Ready? I have some laughs. Good. Why did the monster eat the light bulb? Why? The child asked. He needed a light snack, George explained. And the little girl roared into laughter. Wait, I have more. He told another joke and sent the child into giggles on the floor laughing. Mike watched the canister outside the door fill up. Nice work, Mike said when George finished. Thanks, George said. Mike looked up at the laugh meter on the wall, going steadily, much to everyone's delight. We actually might make our goal, Mike said with a hopeful smile. All of a sudden, Mike and the other monsters watched in horror as the laugh meter began to go down instead of up. What's going on? What's happening? Mike said, his voice growing louder. The laugh wranglers, Smitty and Needleman, weren't sure. This has never happened before, said Smitty, the head wrangler. Well, don't just stand there, Mike said. Try to fix it. The wranglers sprang into action. After a while, they discovered a leak in a laugh tank where all laughs were stored. The monsters on the laugh floor were worried. They wondered if all their hard work had been for nothing. Ho, 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 came a cheerful voice. Mike looked up and saw Santa Claus walking onto the floor. Then he realized it was Sully dressed as Santa in a Santa suit. I'm just getting into the Christmas spirit, Sully explained. And he looked around. Looks like I'm the only one. What's going on? Mike explained the problem. But I've got everything under control, Santa urged Sully. I'm sure you do, Sully replied. I'm just going to see if there's anything I can do to help. Sully followed Mike into the basement of Monsters, Inc., where the laugh wranglers were hard at work. Everyone wanted to get the laugh tank fixed as soon as possible, when time was running out. The tree lighting ceremony was only a few hours away, but the wranglers couldn't agree on how to fix the problem. Anything I can do? Sully asked. One of the pipes was leaking into the laugh tank had bursted, explained Smitty. We need to tie it off, but none of the tools are strong enough to turn the pipe. Sully scratched his head. Then Mike had a great idea. Why not actually tie the pipe off? Since Sully was the strongest, he could bend the pipe right into a pretzel shape. Sully was willing to give it a try. Mike stood at his side and coached him. It worked. The pipe stopped leaking.
Dad, I'm going to go to school and watch the TV.
Alright, Mike and Sully headed back up to the laugh floor. All the monsters congratulated Sully. Mike wondered why no one was thanking him. It had been his idea after all. But there was no time to think about that now. We're back, up and running, Mike announced. Let's make some laughs. All the monsters got to work. They knew they had to work extra hard to make up for lost laughs. Sully decided to jump in and help. Hey, we've only got a couple hours to get that tree lit, he said to Mike. Still dressed as Santa, Sully went through a child's closet door. When he came back to the laugh floor, he looked up at the laugh meter on the wall. It was increasing. but slowly. We've got to make it, Sully whispered to Mike. Finally, the lab meter was back up to the level it had reached before the leak. Sully looked at the clock on the wall and frowned. It's only 30 minutes until the tree lighting ceremony. Suddenly, Sully had an idea. There's only one way we're going to make our laugh quota, is to get some really over-the-top laughs. Mike nodded in agreement. We need the grand slam here, continued Sully. We need a special kind of monster, one with perfect timing, star quality, and a natural act comedy. A one-eyed sensation. Mike realized that Sully was trying to do. He crossed his arms and shook his head. No, Sully, absolutely not. Christmas tree lighting is only a half hour away, Sully told him. Come on, Mike. The whole city is depending on you. That was all Mike needed to hear. All right, let's do it, he said. But you're coming with me. Sully and Mike went through the door together. Sully was still dressed as Santa, and Mike was dressed up as an elf. To their delight, the little girl's sleepover was going on. Mike started with some of his best jokes. Say, Sully, I've got to walk 25 miles to get home. Why don't you take the train? Sully asked, playing along. I did, but my mother made me give it back, Mike said. The kids in the room laughed, but not as hard as the monsters had hoped. After a few jokes, Mike realized he'd have to try something else. He picked up a sack of toys and Sully had brought in, but it was far too heavy for him. Whoa, he exclaimed as he tripped. He landed upside down, and the sack of toys spilled out all around him. He sat up with a doll draped over his head, and a toy car stuck to his foot. The kids roared into laughter. They begged for more, and Mike happily tumbled and tripped for them again. Mike and Sully made it back onto the laugh floor in time to watch the laugh meter hit the limit. At the tree lighting ceremony, Mike and Sully stood proudly in front of the crowd. Sully leaned over and whispered in Mike's ear, "You did a great job." "Thank you," Mike smiled. "You know what I always say, funny does grow on trees. Doesn't grow on trees. When you got it, you got it, and I got it." Sully laughed. He was happy Mike had it and shared it. It was going to be a bright Christmas after all. All right, thank you for joining me. That was tonight's story. Till we see each other again tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.